So in this video, I wanted to discuss cognitive distortions that were considered by famous psychiatrist Aaron T. Beck. He was the founding father of cognitive behavioural therapy. And number one is all or nothing thinking, in where we think in a way that is very black and white. For example, seeing ourselves as a total failure. We may fail a particular exam of some sort, and then we might label ourselves as totally stupid, and that it's a very rigid way of thinking. Number two is overgeneralization, in where we dramatize the extent of a single event. Usually, when this happens, we use the terms always and never. For example, we may get cut off in traffic, and we may say to ourselves, "This always happens to us." Or we may sleep in, and that is a consistent pattern, and we may say to ourselves, "I can never wake up early." Number three is mental filter, in where we dwell too much on the negatives and ignore the positives. For example, we may open a restaurant, get many positive reviews, but then we get one negative review, and our mind is fixated on that one negative review. Number four is discounting the positives, in where the positives in accomplishing something are ignored. So if someone completes a task, they may completely ignore the positives and say that they could have actually done better, or they could have said that anyone could have done that task and that me doing it was not a big deal. So number five is jumping to conclusions, where one kind of interprets a situation as negative without having any particular evidence or facts to support their negative assumptions. This can occur through mind reading, where one makes assumptions of what another person is thinking without having the facts. And another way is fortune telling, where they predict that a negative thing will happen in a particular situation. For example, one could go to a little social event, say a party, and they could predict that no one there's going to like them, but they don't really have, say, evidence to support that scenario. So number six is magnification, where one exaggerates their negative qualities and, say, minimize their positive qualities. So for example, in exaggerating their negative qualities, say if they're not a good communicator, they could maybe exaggerate a particular situation that is a bit socially awkward. But for example, they could be a really good listener, and they might not realize that it's very important to listen in particular situations, and that it's a powerful form of social connection. So number seven is emotional reasoning, in that we reason through our emotions instead of logic. For example, someone could be in an angry state of mind, and they might just blurt out, "I hate everyone," and they're reasoning that argument through emotion instead of logic. Number eight is should and must statements, in that a lot of the time as human beings, we can sometimes get caught up in feeling that we should or must be doing something. For example, someone might want to watch a TV show, and they think to themselves, "I must watch this," or "I should be watching this." If they take a step back, it might not be the end of the world if they don't watch that TV show. Number nine is labeling, and this occurs when we categorize a negative situation with a negative label placed upon ourselves. For example, we might have not followed our diet by consuming too much chocolate, and someone just might say to themselves, "I'm so undisciplined, I'm such a loser." They've labeled themselves to that negative connotation because of the actions that they occurred. So number 10 is personalization and blame. So personalization is when we exert too much blame on ourselves in situations that aren't under our full control. It could maybe occur with sport coaches of particular teams. The sport coach may be very, very self-defeating that the team did not perform well and blame oneself. But at the end of the day, the sport coach isn't of full control of the players on the pitch. And the opposite of that is blame. When things go wrong, we exert blame towards other people, and that's their fault. For example, if you maybe have a girl who's in a relationship with a boy, and she wants to start exercising, and she can't start exercising, she's always lacking motivation, but she blames her partner for not having motivation because he's lazy as well. Yeah, so in conclusion, be mindful of these cognitive distortions.